Hey, you guys. So, was anything different? If you've been watching my videos, you would have noticed that I did that after Christmas. But, so I was watching this video the other day that someone wanted me to, because I was telling them I had lipedema. She says, "Oh, you got to watch this video. It'll make a big difference to you." And I watched this video. It was 45 minutes long. Now I know how you guys feel when you have to watch my hour-long videos. And I just ramble on and on and on like I'm doing now. So this lady, she went on and on and on about stuff. She was talking about swelling in the body. And, I mentioned to her about potassium and sodium, and she didn't really respond back about it. In fact, she didn't respond back at all. You know how the etiquette is. You give a like and a nice message, and you're supposed to give a thumbs up back and a heart. That's the proper etiquette of response back and forth. So you and I, we both love each other. But she didn't do that. So there's this movie out there. I mean, for those of you that are into the metaphysical stuff, you would appreciate it. Maybe you've seen it, but there's this movie. It's called What the Bleep Do You Know? Came out probably 30 years ago. Well, maybe not 30 years ago, right? But definitely something like at least 20 years ago, and maybe 25. But actually, I think the cut version I have is on VHS. I don't think I have the DVD. And then there was a second sequel to it. I think it was called Down the Rabbit Hole, which I bought it, and then I lost it before I had a chance to watch it, which is, me all over. Someday I'll open up a bin and there it will be after I've bought another copy. But it's a kind of pricey thingy because it's not syndicated on Amazon. You have to buy it from their website. But anyway, What the Bleep You Know? It's a really kind of interesting. It talked a lot about beginning stages of learning metaphysics and how it interacts with things, and it has to do also with oh, holy moly! Now I forget the terminology. But anyway, you have to kind of watch it. But one of the things talked about, there was a Japanese scientist that discovered how water is affected by kindness versus anger. And when you shout and you swear and you be mean to, like, say, water, it changes its particular whatever. If you look at it with an electron microscope and you take pictures of it, the water actually changes the molecules in the water. And when you give it a lot of love and happy energy, it takes on a whole different feeling. And that's kind of the way the movie is. It's kind of a cool movie. There's a lady there who's deaf, and you'll know her too because she's been in a lot of movies since then, or TV shows in which they needed somebody who was deaf and that could sign and read lips and all that. So once you see her, you'll know who she is. But goes through these stages of realizing that, saying a lot, using a lot of negative salt, like pain in the back or you're stupid, directing these kind of things towards yourself is actually affecting the water mass in your body and creating that negative energy, that negative anger that fills you up inside. And if you switch it over to a lot of filling yourself with love and listening to good music and surrounding yourself with a lot of good energy and plants and that kind of thing, it changes the whole thing. So I've been thinking about it, the video I watched on YouTube, and the other thing is I was thinking about was that the happy water is probably full of negative ions, and then The unhappy water is probably full of positive, well, they're not ions, they're positive, well, it'll be positively charged particles versus negative charged particles. So when the sun comes up in the morning and it hits the atmosphere and it hits the oxygen molecule, the O2, what it does is it converts into ozone. And the ozone will break down all the contaminants all the biological contaminants in the air. Now, it won't break down pollution necessarily if the pollution is not organic. So the stuff that's made like from fossil fuels may not get broken down very well from ozone because it's the way it goes into it. So if you have an air purifier like over here, I don't know if you can see it. See if you can make it see it. See if you could see it. Can you see it? It is right there. That is an Alpine Air or EcoQuest air purifier. So, don't mind me fiddling with the camera. Fiddle, fiddle. Do it quick. I don't want an hour video. All right, here we go. So, what that does is an air purifier for inside the house. It has ozone plates. It creates the ozone particles in the house, and it will help clean the organic stuff out of the air. Well, it will take care of the smell of the kerosene furnace. So I guess it does go after some fossil fuel particles in the air. It takes care of dust, a lot of different smells and stuff. It also has this little antenna inside of it as I'm switching. If you could find your hands on an old Alpine Air or EcoQuest air purifier, grab it. You think you can get it cheap because you can always get the parts for it. They always have the parts for it. American-made company, and you can always get the parts, and you always get the plates. There's an antenna in there, and that antenna sends out a beacon that neutralizes the dust particles and drops them down to the surfaces so they can get cleaned up. And there's the newer version, Fresh Air from EcoQuest, and then there's been 1 million copies of it. Has a ultraviolet light inside it that when the air goes through it, that helps clean the air in the same method as the ozone. So instead of using a lot of ozone, it'll use the ultraviolet light in conjunction with the ozone plate to purify the air. So it works a little more efficiency. And that's how Mother Nature does it. The sun comes up in the morning, interacts with the atmosphere, and the oxygen in the atmosphere creates the ozone. All these negative ion particles will go out into the atmosphere, and then the positive charged dirt will be attracted to the ions, and it will pull it out of the air, drop it to the ground, where the ground will then use it to grow plants, trees, and puppy dog tails. So, and same thing with streams. You got streams or ponds, and the sunlight hits them, and it produces that. And you have the irrigation, the movement of the water on a stream or in a pond or in the ocean, and it does that churning of that ozone, and it helps purify the water. So why this would be any different in the body? We have the happy water, which is the negative ions, and you have the unhappy water, which is the positive. And then the unhappy water, or you can say bad water, is attracting to the minerals in your body. So if your body is full of minerals, like say copper. Now I know copper is not magnetic, so don't throw the magnet thing out there. But you gotta kind of just go with the flow and understand what I'm saying. Lead, iron. Now, iron, you're supposed to have a certain amount of iron in your body. I have an iron deficiency, so I have to take a supplement. I have to actually take 2 different types of supplements, and it has brought it up a bit. But, this positive charge or unhappy water might tend to attract to the metals in your body and stay in your body, whereas the negative ion water would circulate through your whole body. You consume a healthy water and it would help clean your system, and then you would get rid of that water. Now, I used to use a water purifier that had an ultraviolet light tube in it. And I think my daughter has. I have one, actually, I have one outside somewhere that has 3 chambers, and it will help purify the water. I should try to dig that out at some point when it's not 15 degrees. It uses an ultraviolet light tube. It will help, the ultraviolet light will break down all the disgusting things that are in water, particularly town, public water supplies. Like my really good friend that I know, just in case, his website, his YouTube channel is Just in Case, and he was flushing out his hot water tank, and the water was disgusting in the hot water tank, and that's from the town, and the town doesn't care that it's sending them crappy water. So, when people, and now most water is goes to the sewage treatment plant, it gets reprocessed, it gets put back into the soil, and people are on all kinds of medications. That kind of medication stuff, it stays in that water. It's very hard to take that out. So a really good water filter in your house will take a lot of that stuff out before you drink it. So drinking happy water is going to make you feel better. Now, I could be totally crazy. Now, all right, I know what you're saying. Is there anyone listening? Nope, no one's listening, but someone out there is going to say, yep, you're crazy, John. We've heard it before. You talk to fairies. Anyone who talks to fairies has to be crazy. But, it's kind of interesting because, I've kind of stopped dealing with those EcoQuest things, but, it makes sense. You drink happy water and you're going to feel happier. You drink dead water and it's going to have a negative effect on your body. You just don't drink water just because it's water. In fact, I just had a discussion with a cardiologist about my blood work, and she was talking to me that you're not drinking enough water, John. I'm going, the whole point was to not drink water. Now I have to drink more water. So could you just add a bubbler to your water, and that would throw in a bunch of oxygen into your water? That might be a place to start. What would be good to start would be to have like the ultraviolet light tube and be able to take water from that and interject it in. So have like a tank of water in the house, and then have a thing that can throw bubbles into it and oxygenate the water with some air. That might be good enough. I'm not sure to what extent, but it might be good enough. It might be a place to start. But at any rate, where are we at? 13 minutes. Well, I guess I'm doing better than other times. What do you think? Do you think I'm totally bonkos? If you haven't seen the movie, What the Bleep You Know, I was just watching. It is a very entertaining movie. Now, if you're a metaphysician, you're going to love it. If you're not a metaphysician, you may not understand it. But if you watch it with your kids, they'll understand it. And Down the Rabbit Hole is the other sequel to it. It's too bad it doesn't go on Amazon, but it doesn't. I'll have to see if I can find it. I know I have it on VHS. If my VHS machine still works, it hasn't been powered on for a few years. So that's pretty cool. So another good thing happened today is I finally got discharged from the wound center. As you know, I've been working on wounds on my legs and feet for almost 2.5 years, and I got out of the boot. I'm in brand new shoes. I'm walking happy. So today I got discharged from the wound center that I'm technically all healed, except for the screw loose that I have in my head talking about a happy water and unhappy water. So things are looking good for me, and I hope things are looking good for you too. I hope you're going to have a great 2021, because it can't be like last year. Oh, people say we're waiting for the restart. We're not going to have a restart. We're going to have a rebirth. We're in that incubation period, and we're going to rebirth into something amazing, amazing. And I hope you come along with us. So until next time, yeah, I have a couple of videos coming out. I was shooting a show on making bacon in the dehydrator, and my dehydrator failed to start when I got it all loaded with bacon. So I had to take it all out, put it in the freezer, diagnose it, order the parts. 2 videos. One is cooking bacon in the dehydrator. The other one is fixing the dehydrator. I just can't make it up. It just keeps coming along. So until next time, drink happy water, please. And where is my cursor? End stream. Not yet. Yes. End stream.